but I'm not one for poetry. Not really entertaining, in my opinion, moody for me. A bit of comedy or cutting the lawn, which I enjoy for reasons I don't fully understand. No, I am not one for poetry. I can't say his was unpleasant, exactly. Really, it's like the little tinkling you hear from a music box when you open it up, then you shut it, and it's gone.
And as I was green and carefree, famous among the barns about the happy yard and the singing as the farm was owned, in the sun that is young once only, time let me play and be golden in the mercy of his means. And green and golden I was huntsman and herdsman. The calves sang to my horn, the foxes on the hills barked clear and cold, and the Sabbath ran slowly in the pebbles of the holy stream.
I appreciate that as I've been mentioned in the newspapers, the mere gazing upon my person creates a sense of validation. Thank you. Like witnessing a very important car accident. I love you too. Thank you.
It is unnatural, behavior.
How was your trip, Mr. Thomas?
This is not the embryo of a living thing, a chicken. The consuming of embryos, not even coveted by the Chinese, and they eat puppies.
But the trip? How was the tour?
Oh, the trip was wonderful, Carlos. 4 months of being feted and worshipped, what we all require but rarely obtain. But I need rest.
Well, you're here very early today.
And with good cause, Carlos.
Cause?
Well, the weather was particularly fine this morning, the sky clear. Even the birds in their song were praising the demi-paradise that is Earth.
That sounds nice.
So I thought, what better place to come than the White Horse, which smells of piss, stale beer, and the hidden deaths of feral creatures.
One scotch, then?
Double. First one of the day, very important. And it must not suffer in anonymity. We shall name it, you and I.
Return of the prodigal son, Carlos.
Chaps, what do you think? We're naming drinks.
What do you mean?
Giving them names, specific names. Names, monikers, designations, captions, titles, labels. To label, to dub, to christen, to baptize. To name drinks, as we must name all things. To change them. Yes? No? Oh, well, I suppose it's early in the morning. We shall call this first drink Innocence, which is, after all, how all things begin, without guile or intention.
Was that straight up or with soda, sir?
Innocence, by its very nature, Carlos, is unsullied. Yehida, gentlemen. Good morning, good fucking morning.
Yes, he was very much appreciated wherever we went. Concerning the money, it wasn't It wasn't a large sum of money, but it was more than he'd earned before.
What about the drinking?
I would say that's exaggerated.
What is?
The reporting of his drinking. I would say that's very exaggerated.
Exaggerated, really?
Yes.
How do you mean exaggerated?
Exaggerated. Made bigger, extreme, more than it is. Exaggerated, as in exaggerated.
Okay. Let's accept that. Shouldn't you have stopped him? I mean, before what happened. Are you a liar, Mr. Brennan?
It is with the greatest pride that I have the honor of introducing one of the most unique voices of our generation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dylan Thomas.
Now, as I was young and easy under the apple boughs, about the lilting house, and happy as the grass was green, the night above the dingles starry, time let me hail and climb, golden in the heydays of his eyes. And honored among wagons, I was prince of the apple towns. And once below a time, I lordly had the trees and leaves trail with daisies and barley down the rivers of the windfall light.
Nothing like a good piss. It both offers the pleasure of relief and the delight of knowing there's more room at the inn. So a second, please, Carlos, and a third.
What? Bartender, not brother's keeper.
Felix didn't mean no harm, Carlos.
Actually, he meant it rhetorically.
Who?
God, the Brothers Keepers reference?
Oh, don't take it away. Think of it as the sadness of the half-forgotten or the vague scent of what it once was.
Still gonna wash it.
Should we wash away the past, Teddy?
He's gonna clean the glass.
Yeah, shouldn't we hold the past precious? Isn't that why we label our experiences?
Label.
That awful day or that summer at your parents'. Nothing unnamed can be precious because the unnamed is lost, combined, forgotten.
I forget things.
But in naming things, we change the essence of that we wish to remember. Memory, what a mess. It's as much fiction as it is truth. All the same, it's how we order our world, so let's name things.
What are you going to name that one?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm, Carlos, because the second double scotch makes the world a pleasanter place. One for which we might have some enthusiasm. Who knows what the future might bring? Perhaps some enthusiasm for some new-gained wisdom or an adventure worthy of enthusiasm lurking at the end of the bar or in the corridor leading to the loo.
Yes, I'm coming!
So you're off then?
I am.
No drink in there, I hope.
Nope.
Say goodbye to your father, children.
Oh, I will miss you all so very, 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 very much. I'll miss you all.
Daddy will write to us and he'll send great gobs of money so we can all have nice things. That's why he's going to America and leaving us behind. Just because he went before and didn't send hardly any money back, we shouldn't think that the same will happen again.
Silly mummy.
Brennan!
Dylan, I was worried.
Terrible flight.
I'm very sorry, but your plane landed 2 hours ago, Dylan.
Full of gnomes, international spies, and Presbyterians. Horrible.
Did you not know I was here?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, well, I was.
Yes, well, you were, but Presbyterians.
Yes. Let's get you to your hotel.
No, we'll have a heroic night. I must make it up to you. I can tell you're upset. We'll go to the Minetta Tavern, have a few drinks there, meet some old friends, and then on to the San Remo.
No. But I would like to.
We'll save the best for our return from New York. The White Horse, my promiscuous muse. But let's gather our rosebuds while we may.
Well, this is a gift. I've been wanting to give that to you.
Gift? Thank God. I thought it might be that awful book you've been working on. And I'm very glad it is.
We met in a pub, of course. The Wheat Sheaf in Fitzrovia. We were immediately attracted to each other and started what was to become a long series of wonderful nights together.
Do you remember our first time, Dylan?
Yes, of course. It was a time of great wonderment.
You took off your trousers and you didn't have any underpants on. Which was slightly grotesque. But then you never wore them. Why?
It was a time-saving measure.
You ran into bed and got into the sheets as quickly as you could. You still had your jacket and shirt on and your socks. I think it's because you didn't want me to see your funny little pink body. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Time stood still, cloistered from the world, safe from it all. Tempests could have raged behind the walls, and waves could have washed away the city, but we were safe. Not yet.
You had such a funny body then. It was like a pink turtle without its shell.
Yes, you keep saying. It's a recurring theme.
Well, we remember images, I suppose. Some of them fix in the mind.
Well, I was a man like any other. Why should that be any different for you or any other woman?
Then we went to visit Augustus. Do you remember that? And he didn't know anything about us. And you and I, we got in the back seat and we kissed and fondled. And he could see it all in the mirror. It made him drive faster and faster. It only made the fondling more pleasurable. Imagine one's lover squeezing your breast being your last sensation before death. Do you remember that?
I remember. And then when we got back to the house, Augustus wanted to fight me. And I did rather well, I think.
No. He beat you up terribly. You were so pathetic and wounded. Your face all red with cuts and bruises. I loved you then.
And I loved you.
Well, perhaps if you'd been beaten more often.
Well, had I known you liked it so much, I'd have beaten myself like a flagellum.
Now, had I known that, then I would have asked.
Will you not come with me to New York, Kathleen? I'll be able to breathe without you. It's so noisy there and so tall. Kathleen. Kathleen.
How did this happen?
It may not be as bad as all that.
It is a cataclysm.
Potential.
It is a cataclysm. It is apocalyptic.
Really, Dorothy.
Really, Roger, shut up. I am speaking. My God, this is Vassar College. And you, bringing a drunken, debaucherous libertine to this college
I'm in
and
charge
paying
of
for it
booking the
with college
speakers for the
funds.
autumn term.
Oh,
course you are. Not the Empress of Russia? Or a fairy princess? No, you are in charge of booking the speakers for the autumn term. That is an honorary position and should not be taken seriously by anyone, least of all anyone charged with your supervision. I'm looking at her, Roger, but I'm thinking of you. What is your name, dear?
Penelope Goldstein.
Penelope Goldstein. Well, Penelope, if this man should embarrass the college in any way, if anything at all should happen, I promise you that your time at Vassar College is over. Am I making myself clear?
Yes. I promise you he'll be there. Yes. Yes, Vassar is very important to him, and you have my personal assurance. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
More troubles.
Oh, some young girl worried about him showing up for the
Least
reading.
of your problems.
Oh, you laugh at me, Felton, but to be around genius.
Brennan, please.
No, it's like the carrying of a golden chalice. Is that ridiculous?
Yes,
Or a magical elixir?
Stop.
That when you drink of it, the world is forever altered.
Oh, it must be bleak. I am sorry.
I just don't want to ask him for anything.
No, of course not. Just a few phrases for the jacket of your bloke, which will put you on the map, pay all your bills, and validate your hitherto pointless loitering on this planet. And don't do your injured look. It gives me a rash.
Yes, I would like for him to find merit in my book. Is that too much to ask?
Who can say what's good or bad? And who cares? Do find a way to try and flog the massive pile of crap I said.
It's not crap, Felton. It's my life's work.
Brennan, we all have lives. Doesn't mean they're important.
What'd he say?
He told me not to worry my little girlish head.
Okay, then, that's good, right?
Thanks, Alexei.
I didn't mean that. I mean, it's good he's coming, right?
Right.
Well, maybe, it wasn't worth all the worry.
Why do you always have to go say something stupid, Alexei? I prefer it when you just say innocuous and sincere things you heard your professor say, but then you have to improv.
Jeopardizing 4 years of college to get some drunk poet doesn't really seem like the best thing to do, does it?
I'd like you to stop talking now. Smoke or something, pose, do anything, but please be quiet.
I mean, who is he?
I love him.
Pardon?
I love him. I love his ideas. I love his voice. I love his language. I love everything about him. I'd have his child if he asked me to.
You are joking.
Which part?
The child.
No, that's the part I mean most of all. I'm actually checking my ovulation cycle, hoping it will correspond to his visit.
You're mad and not funny. You don't even know him.
So much easier to love people we don't know, don't you think?
I get it. You're making fun of me.
Yes, I am.
Good news, gentlemen. More room at the inn. Like the crew of a sinking ship, we evacuated through all available portals.
Glad to hear it.
Did you leave a mess?
A little one. I daren't look. Don't envy the poor sod who has to clean that up.
You are inscrutable, Carlos.
Am I?
Yes, you read.
What? Newspapers?
No.
Books?
Yes, books.
Yeah.
What sort of books?
You wouldn't like it much.
Something salacious, I hope. A saucy detective novel or some tales of the Old West, or perhaps you read the Holy Bible out of respect for your Catholicism.
I don't read saucy detective novels, and I don't really read tales of the Old West. What I read...
Pornography, of course. I have a completely open mind in that regard. There's some very good pornography. My wife's diaries, for example.
Not pornography.
Oh, well, you shall remain inscrutable then, Carlos. But a drink
Must not be a mystery. A drink must have a name. What shall we call this?
You're the king. You name it.
Oh, Teddy. For you have but mistook me all this while. I live with bread like you. Feel want, taste grief, need friends, subjected thus. How can you say to me that I'm a king?
Yeah, well, you're the king, so you name him.
Well, I had some time to ruminate on this, as it happens, for I was indisposed at the WC. Not always a place of inspiration, but today served. We shall call this drink...
Yeah?
Hope. Hope. Yes, you see, the enthusiasm for which the second drink was named can seem unfounded. The ordinary world is not an easy place, but with hope, the simple can be replaced by the phantasmagorical, and the third drink brings us that hope. Hope that simple things which only moments ago seemed banal will in time acquire a magical quality.
Miserable have no other medicine, but only hope.
What was that you just said?
Just now?
Yes, just now.
Oh, the miserable have no other medicine, but only hope. Am I bothering you, sir?
No, not at all.
That is beautiful.
Where did you hear that?
I don't know. Maybe the nuns. Is it from one of the Gospels? They probably beat
Not
it
the
into...
Gospels. No, Shakespeare.
How do you like that?
I think our friend here's a bit of a dark horse, Dylan.
The dark horse.
As you like it.
We had great nuns. Great.
No. Theatre, poetry.
Not a gospel.
Yes.
I know some limericks.
Limericks.
There was a young lady from Lund.
Oh, please, Carlos, no.
Sorry, Mr. Thomas. I didn't mean to offend. They are meant comically, I think.
Lund.
I haven't heard of the place either, but it rhymes with...
In any case, rhyming is a virtue, not a necessity, Carlos. Bless you.
Where did it go? Where what, though? I'm sorry.
The money.
What are you implying?
Implying? I'm not implying anything. I'm just asking.
Well, you're asking in a very implying sort of way.
So, apart from the vomiting, the cramps, and the cough, is there anything unusual?
The diarrhea.
Yes, of course, the diarrhea. D-I-A-R-H-E-A. Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Just the diarrhea?
Well, yes, and the cramps and the vomiting.
And the cough, yes, of course. Anything else?
Just those.
All right, then. Good. Call me if you feel any worse.
Yes, of course. Yes?
An idea has just sprung into my mind.
Really?
Please stop me if you think the notion too odd. But have you thought about giving up the drink?
Pardon?
Giving up the drink.
What, with all the discomfort of the diarrhea, the cramps, and the vomiting?
Yes.
Well, how would I put up with it without a drink?
Quite. Just thought I would inquire.
To begin at the beginning, it is spring, moonless night in the small town, starless and Bible black, the cobble streets silent, and the hunched quarters and rabbits wood limping invisible down to the slow black, crow black, fishing boat bobbing sea.
Dear Dylan, I am glad the trip is going well. I know you're earning a small fortune, with which I had thought we might buy a house.
The houses are blind as moles, though moles see fine tonight in the snouting velvet dingles, or blind as Captain Cat, there in the muffled middle by the pump and the town clock, the shops in mourning, the welfare hall in widow's weeds.
However, I'm now somewhat less ambitious. Enough to feed the children until next Wednesday would be gratefully received. It's not so much their nutritional needs with which I'm concerned as their constant reference to their hunger, which distracts one from engaging them in otherwise edifying discourse. Love.
And all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now.
Does anyone really care about the sick, apart from their family, small circle of friends? Gandhi, maybe. But my God, the man wore a loincloth. And apart from him, who? The sick are but coal in the great furnace of indifference. Then there are the famous, we know their names, but do they possess some quality we do not? Or are they so much more than we are? Why should we mourn their passing any more than we mourn the passing what is now this cadaver? It is only that we see ourselves in the famous that makes them matter. But if we do not, bring on the cadavers, there's always a use for them.
When I first met him, Dylan, he had a childlike quality that was irresistible. We met in a pub, the Wheat Sheaf, Fitzrovia. We were introduced, and pretty soon he was talking without punctuation to anyone who would listen. He was drunk, of course, but... Not that he didn't mean it, but one wants a partner sober and responsible when saying that sort of thing, at least from a legal perspective. Don't you agree? Dylan, darling. Dylan, wake up. You must be Carlos.
You must be Kathleen.
Well, yes and no. I'm actually a manifestation of Dylan's drunken, feverish, dyspeptic imagination, so I'm not here. If you're interested in the rest of the story, when Dylan and I met, Augustus and I were still lovers, though he was a perfect bastard. But I had no intention of altering which was by then a perfectly satisfactory arrangement just because a young man had put his head in my lap and told me that he loved me. Do you remember, Dylan?
I remember, and I spoke as I felt. I loved you. I loved you from the moment I saw you. I was certain.
Is that perfectly ridiculous? Don't you agree?
I don't get involved in domestic disputes.
You did have an elfin quality, though.
You were so very slim. Do you remember? So slim, so pale, so soft. Like a turtle just out of its shell.
I was a young man like any other.
You were a turtle. Or a pink reptile with no muscle.
Did I seem so unappealing?
I didn't say unappealing. Then my taste does run to the strange.
When you come to me, my love, I'm lonely and I care so little for everything now. I think of you always.
Dylan, money is short. Send some at once. I am entirely serious. We shall have to sell one of the children. Which one do you recommend?
Don't worry, Carlos.
About that cough?
No, not about the cough. And I will be forgotten by all except young girls at ladies' colleges and young men whose earlier pubescent awkwardness has caused them to think they've suffered more than others and should therefore grow beards.
That's what you worry about.
Yes, sometimes.
I worry about snakes.
Father? Yes, why not? I was thinking earlier how easy seduction is.
I think I know what you mean. Haven't done too badly myself.
Yes, well done, Carlos. I was speaking of seduction in the broader sense. Causing those who hear one to love one, a group seduction, a hypnosis of an entire audience.
That sounds harder than hitting on some depressed girl who just broke up with her boyfriend.
Yes, but it's all a trick, Carlos.
Is that right?
You gonna name that one?
Yes, the fourth. We shall call this recalcitrance. A lack of respect for the self-righteous and higher demands to stop before excess. To recalcitrance!
Yes, there's problems.
Drunkenness, thievery, rudeness, leping after women.
Yes. Perhaps artists have different views of things. It's the excitement of the iconoclastic mind. Oh, I just expect so little in return. Yes.
How long?
8 years.
That's a long time writing a book, 8 years.
It's hard to finish. You open yourself up to judgment and condemnation.
Your life wholly in the hands of someone else.
Oh, my life in his hands.
People put their lives in my hands all the time and stop taking it seriously after a while.
I just want him to like it.
And failing that, to like it for all you've done for him.
Have you ever heard him read?
Justin, I tried, but he did it beautifully.
If you could hear him read, I think you'd understand. That he's better than we are.
It was all shining. It was Adam and maiden. The sky gathered again, and the sun grew round that very day. So it must have been after the birth of the simple light, in the first spinning place, the spellbound horses walking warm out of the winding green stable onto the fields of praise. And honored among foxes and pheasants by the gay house, under the new-made clouds, and happy as the heart was long. In the sun born over and over, I ran my heedless ways. I will read it, Brennan.
I wasn't talking about that, Dylan.
No?
No? But if you don't mind me asking, how far along have you gotten?
Well, coming up to the interesting bit, I hope.
Ah, and what is the interesting bit?
Well, you would know, dear boy. I haven't got there yet, have I?
Number 5, Mr. Thomas. Free wheel.
It's rather beautiful.
Will you name it Beauty, then?
No. We shall call it Faith.
Faith.
Yes, Faith.
You calling something faith? Why?
Don't
faith?
offend my customers, please, Felix. He doesn't mean any harm, Carlos.
Who's doing the harm here?
Faith that the drinks that follow, or whatever is to follow, holds great promise. Faith for those who have it has more certainty than hope, but less evidence, making it all the more remarkable and therefore beautiful. To faith,
To one
cheers!
who has faith, no explanation is necessary. To one without faith, no explanation is possible.
Carlos.
What?
Carlos.
That?
Yes, that!
St. Thomas Aquinas.
Oh, the nuns again!
Absolutely, sir.
He has a good memory.
I don't know about that. Just a bartender who whips out the entrees to impress the ladies.
Oh, the ladies respond in a big way to St. Thomas Aquinas.
You'd be surprised, sir. It doesn't mean anything to me. It just sounds pretty. It sounds like it means something. My dad used to talk very pretty to my mother. Then he would beat the fuck out of her. I figured it wasn't what you said that mattered or how pretty it sounded, but whether it meant anything.
Speaking of money, Dylan, Brennan tells me you're inclined to buy everyone's drinks and are betting on horses. I would point out, in passing, that your children are virtually without clothes or food, and that we are having to rely on charity. Brennan also mentioned that you have a mistress. I do hope she is not the expensive kind. One of the more economical variety in our circumstances would seem more appropriate. You are a bastard. The children send their love.
There they are. So this is the sixth, is it, Carlos?
There are 5 glasses on the bar, Dylan, so that must be the 6th and 7th.
Yes, thank you, Felix.
None of my business, but couldn't you stop now?
I could, Felix, but the 5th was faith, and it proved unfounded. It was inevitable. We all lose faith at some point, at least for a little while. Then comes that ennui, that maudlin contemplation of how little the future holds and our own certain death. To number 6.
That seems sort of sad, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, it is a little sad, Teddy. But do not despair, because here is the 7th.
Is that a good one?
Oh, this is a good one. This is resurrection.
Oh, stop.
The spirit, which only moments ago seemed so bound to the earth, now seems to soar above, and our companions, who formerly seemed so tedious, now seem to offer insights that we are certain to remember, if not forever, then certainly until lunchtime next week. To resurrection.
Do you mean us, Mr. Thomas?
Mean you, Teddy?
Tedious companions.
No, not you. No, shh, I meant the others.
Damn it. I don't know where he is. He's not in his room at the Chelsea, and that girl keeps calling.
Oh.
I called the San Remo, the Minetta.
Whitehorse Tavern.
Twice. They said he wasn't there.
Well, there are only a few hundred other bars in New York. If you have the yellow pages, there's hope.
He promised he'd be done with the book by tonight.
Oh, well, perhaps he's in the library reading it now.
Okay. You know, Felton, for a friend, you were...
What do you expect? He's been nothing but trouble.
Him?
This tour, it's wearing you down. Your constant good cheer is redeeming quality, Brennan. Try not to lose that.
But you're right. I mean, he does find the co-eds at the colleges a bit distracting. The Bermuda shorts, he says. Ugh. At times he stands too close to them
And?
Makes suggestions.
Oh.
And the drinking... God. But no matter how...
Drunk.
Yes, he is strangely reliable. Yes, he has vices, but he still has principles. He will read it, I'm certain of it. In any case, his wife is on the 3 o'clock plane. I booked the flight myself. Another great favor.
You're a kind man, Brennan. You take some pride in that. But this great favor, I wonder, is it a kindness or a manipulation? If you're suddenly becoming wise to the ways of the world, I would find that disturbing. Say it isn't so.
Não aguento mais. Não posso esperar que você agora.
No, I don't speak your language. You do realize that, yes? Or no? Well, anyway, he put his head in my lap like a child, and he said, sotto voce.
Sotto voce.
Oh, you understand that?
Sì,
Sotto voce.
claro, claro.
Yes, he said that he loved me. And that I was beautiful. And that we were going to get married. He was very drunk. But does that make someone more truthful or less so? Do you have thoughts in this regard?
I'm sorry, I know this is not a good time. However, I was
You
wondering
are, if I haven't told you, Brennan, a wonderful man.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I mean that, not in the overly hyperbolic North American sense. You truly are a wonderful human being.
Well, that does mean a great deal to me, Dylan.
And this particular cow is deeply appreciative.
I'm sorry, cow?
Cow, as in cash cow. Cow as in give it of milk. Cash cow as in give it of money.
Dylan, I do not see you as a cash cow.
Oh, of course, also a trophy and an ornament.
Sorry, I'm not following you.
I understand. Intuition not being your strongest suit, Brennan. This tour, all these cities, all this time, not enjoying a single moment of it. What do I have to show for it? I did this for the money, but despite these 20 cities, these 20 examples of low theatre, I have absolutely nothing to show for it. Catelyn and the children are virtually starving. Who's responsible for this?
Concerning the money...
Who is responsible for this, Brennan? I love them dearly. I miss them. Tell me, who's responsible? Me, I suppose. How's your wonderful, wonderful book coming along, John Malcolm?
Oh, well, I should be asking you that. Have you had some time to read and...
I wouldn't say that. No, not completely.
Mm-hmm, of course. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. If I could possibly have it back, I found a typist that could make another copy of it, and it would be very beneficial.
You mean the copy you gave me was the only copy?
Yes.
The only copy? Why would you? Surely there's another draft.
No.
Brilliant. Thank you so very, very much for putting your trust in me. I shan't forget this.
There are few things as gratifying as the study of alcoholism. The thing about an alcoholic's body is that rarely do we see such a direct causality between an activity and its effect on physiology. First of all, alcohol causes stomach secretions and dilates the blood vessels in the skin, so that though the drinker is actually losing body heat, he is feeling warm. The immediate effects of alcohol, that which we like, results from depression of the nervous system. So there is what feels like a stimulant effect, but actually, clinically, that is because there is a depression in the part of the brain that inhibits our actions. So far from loosening us up, alcohol is depressing us, one part of the brain at a time.
One Christmas was so much like another in those years around the Sea-Town corner now. And out of all sound except the distant speaking.
Why do you stay with me then? If you have so little feeling.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty whether the option for anything better exists. Lack of energy to explore that option. And the hope that the option with which we are stuck might transmogrify into something else.
You know, it's strange how we choose our life partner. We shop so wisely for everything else, but we throw judgment out the window when we marry. We don't consider the investment or the return or the downside. We meet somebody, we see them for a while, and then we stay with them forever, or what feels like forever. It's a very strange way to shop.
Did it seem like forever?
Longer.
I know what you mean.
Well, not that some of us haven't got lucky. I find the constant reassurance from radio commentators that you're a genius hugely reassuring, especially as we watch you drink our money away.
Do something, he said. And we threw our snowballs in the smoke. I think we missed Mr. Prothero and ran out of the house to the telephone box. Let's call the police as well, Jim said, and the ambulance, and Ernie Jenkins, he likes fires. By the seaside, hearing the noise of birds, hearing the raven cough in winter sticks. My busy heart, who shudders as she talks, sheds the syllabic blood and drains her words. The force that drives the water through the rocks drives my red blood, that drives the mouthing streams, turns mine to wax, and I am dumb to mouth and to my veins, how at the mountain spring the same mouth sucks.
Didn't I? I suppose this is a bit late. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
If there's any consolation, I've hurt you less than you've hurt me.
You have hurt me.
Do you love me, Dylan?
In the newspapers, the mere gazing upon my person creates a sense of validation, thank you. Like witnessing a very important car accident. I love you too. William Butler Yeats. Thank you. William Butler Yeats. Turning and turning in the widening gyre. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loose, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
You found him?
He's at the White Horse. He's been there since 9.
How much?
7, 8 doubles.
Well, perhaps I shouldn't have given you that, but
Where was it found?
Charles Street, and apparently there were
Is it really you? You've finally come to me.
No. You're drunk. I'm your hallucination. But there are advantages.
Advantages?
As your hallucination, I can say whatever you want me to. Every man's dream. As your wife, I would never do that.
Ah.
Ah? Ah, as in let's have another drink. Why don't you get drunk and smell of your own vomit and let what's left of your body rot?
If it's my hallucination, why did I get Vlad the Impaler?
Pardon me, sir?
Speaking to myself, Carlos. Or the wind, north by northwest.
That would be... There will be 2 doubles then, sir.
Yes, thank you. Only 39, Carlos.
39?
I'm only 39 years of age.
I thought you were much older.
So much time wasted.
And by who?
The 9th is...
Listen to me.
The 9th
Dylan.
is regret. We cannot undo or redo the past, and we're never certain whether we've lost or gained. And still we regret all the same.
I like that one.
Good, Teddy, because this...
How can you say you love me
is
and
the
behave
10th
like this?
love again.
Do you love
and
me,
again,
Dylan?
and again,
Do you
and
love me?
again, and again.
You're taking your time with that one,
Yes,
sir.
I am, Felix. Because you see, this already has a name.
So do
and a
you?
function. Do you mean that I should sacrifice my life for you?
Possibly.
I have.
Possibly you have in part.
No, I mean my life. What's gone, you've taken, or I've given, or lost.
What's it called then, sir?
The 10th, Carlos, is excess. What else can it be called but excess? Most of life's events and turmoils have been experienced, so there's little point in carrying on, but we do. The optimistic out of curiosity, and the rest of us because we see no alternative. The last guests at one's own party.
What the hell do you mean when you say I have taken your life? If we have loved each other, then we have taken each other's lives. And they were freely given. So do you love me, Dylan?
If I loved you, then your infidelity would have caused me suffering, and I have suffered. So you can say, if it's important to you, that yes, I have loved you. In fact, you've given me ample opportunity to love you, repeatedly, again and again. Should I forgive your infidelity? My God, the torture of mind you've provided to give me the chance to understand what you mean by love.
Dylan.
A definition. Love is the agony one provides to the person you care for most.
Dylan. Please.
Please what, Kathleen? Please, can you fuck someone else? Please, should I forgive you?
That ridiculous girl. That does not bear
She was of no consequence.
But it was first.
It wasn't important.
It broke my heart.
Your heart, it gave you an excuse.
Oh, just have another bloody drink, you bloody man!
I will bloody drink! The 11th is disappointment. Disappointment at not stopping after 10, but also at everything into which we've invested our faith. Nothing deserves it. 12. 12. 12. 12 is sadness, which is the great shade that hovers behind us like a thief with a cudgel.
What's gone and what's past health should be past grief.
I'm not even going to ask, Carlos.
What?
Has a woman ever been unfaithful to you?
Well, it depends on what you mean by unfaithful.
I had no idea there were several meanings. What I mean is, has a woman you loved ever had physical intimacies with another man?
Physical intimacy?
Jesus Christ, Carlos, has a wife or girlfriend of yours ever fucked someone else?
Oh, right. Yes. Bitch. Bitch.
And was she unfaithful with several men at several different times?
You think I'm stupid? Of course, every situation is different, Mr. Thomas.
But what if you still loved her?
Why would I do that?
Yes, Carlos, why would you do that? Why would you do that when your trust was violated? And all your secret little special intimacies weren't secret anymore. And when the invalid is violated, love them? Why do that, Carlos?
Exactly. Love. Let us be true to one another. For the world that seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain.
Thank you very much for coming today. So, is this everyone? This is? Yes? Yes. In his poetry and would be discursive for no particular reason other than ennui. He called our tour an endless journey of sameness.
Persons, as a rule, are more generous in the doling out of responsibility than they are in the giving of gifts.
As we muffle the noise of the world, wriggling our fingers in our ears like children, there comes the remembrance of things past.
When a person dies, we like to see it as someone else's fault, presuming there is someone else to blame.
I've spoken to him in a bar, and he would look at me with those glazed eyes, and I didn't see the slightest glimmer of comprehension. Somehow, he would be where he needed to be, with or without me.
They are elusive. The spectre at the top of the stairs. A shade. A vapor. Frighteningly clear.
It's much preferable to believing the world godless and uncaring. If someone is to blame, there is order in the world.
Sometimes he would be so drunk he could barely stand. You'd think his lips were incapable of movement until he would read, and then bam! God, it would all change. And it was magical. Magical.
But if the world is not ordered, what if none of us are responsible for any event, even those that occur in our own lives? What a terrifying place the world would be, or is already.
Do not go gentle into that good night.
Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night.
13 is bravado, come full circle from hope. It is an act in the absence of faith or hope. It draws attention to oneself.
Brave men near death who see with blinding sight.
And who can resist an audience? So naturally, 14 is a requirement for one's public. And having got them into the hall with 13, one must perform.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Uncertainty. Uncertainty whether the option for anything better exists. The lack of energy to explore the options. And the hope that the option with which you are stuck might transmogrify into something else.
And I'm not going to ask you this time to stop drinking.
I'm glad you agree.
No, that's really not the question.
Exactly my view.
I'm going to ask you if you want to die.
What a curious notion.
Do you?
I should like to see my own funeral. I think everyone would. I could give the eulogy. I think I'd do rather a good job.
Do you wish to die, Mr. Thomas? You must tell me.
Doctor,
I'm entirely serious.
I have children. My angels, who I adore. And Catelyn. I wish she was here. I could put my head in her lap and sleep.
Then for you, I wish she was here. But if you wish to see your family again, you must stop drinking. Now. You must rest. You must eat, if you are to live.
And death shall have no dominion. Dead man naked they shall be one with the man in the wind and the west moon. When their bones are picked clean and the clean bones gone, they shall have stars at elbow and foot. Though they go mad, they shall be sane. Though they sink through the sea, they shall rise again. Though lovers be lost, love shall not, and death shall have no dominion.
He's drunk.
You can't know that.
Look at him.
You wouldn't understand.
I understand drunk. He's not going to be able to speak tonight.
Yes, he will. He will. Excuse me, Mr. Thomas?
Say that again.
I have come from Vassar to help you.
To help me?
To help you find your way to the college today.
Well, that's very generous of you, but I must ask you, do I look confused?
No.
Little drunk, perhaps? Do I seem drunk to you?
No, I don't think you're drunk. I think you're marvelous. I think that you make the commonplace seem magical and the magical seem real, and...
Brilliant! This young lady seems to be in love with me, I think. Am I right?
If I may have a word...
Not now, Brilliant. Who are these, Carlos?
Your fans.
Fans? I don't need fans. I need idolaters. Those who love me. What are your names?
Alexei.
Penelope.
Lexi and Penelope. You're making those up, aren't you?
No.
Nom de plume. What are you, pith-helmeted hunters searching for some wildebeest or some superannuated literary figure?
There are real names.
My God.
I must insist, Dylan, that we have this conversation, please.
A drink, Mr. Brennan?
Alexi and Penelope. Penelope and Alexi. Tell me, did your parents think themselves unusual? Meet my dear friend, the prosaically named Brennan. And this is Carlos. And this is my drinking partners, Mr. Rosencrantz and Mr. Guildenstern. Mr. Rosencrantz, Mr. Guildenstern, please meet my new friends, Penelope and Alexi.
Oh, you're from abroad.
No, they're not.
Oh.
Oh, exactly.
Are those your real names? Because our names really aren't Rose.
I found this, Dylan. Do you recognize this?
What is this?
It's a muddied page from my book. I found it on the streets.
Extraordinary.
Yes.
Yes, that's just extraordinary.
Where is it? Where is it?
Don't become agitated, Brennan. It doesn't suit you. A page must have blown away, that's all.
It's not just a page, Dylan, you know that.
Perhaps someone wrote exactly the same thing as you did, and by some strange coincidence left it in the street, and you thought it was yours.
Dylan, this is the title page of my book. That's my name, John Malcolm Brennan. Do you see that?
Yes, that is too much of a coincidence. But when will she arrive? Brennan, when will she get here? Brennan. When?
I won't tell you until you tell me where my book is.
Don't you bully me, you dog's cock. You may remember the great explorer Captain Oates who tried to discover the South Pole. There was no food, his men was getting hungry, and before he stepped out in the blizzard, he turned to them and said in the most quintessential of British fashions, and I say this with some pride, he said, "I'm going outside now, I may be some time." Unfortunately, my wicked witch arrives soon. And my love for her makes our inevitable convergence impossible, but we may share our imaginings, Penelope. Alexi? Penelope, I'm confused. Should I be anticipating Tolstoy or the Greek?
Pardon?
Of course, in your case, with your name, Tolstoy. Melancholy Alexei, young, handsome, somewhat impetuous, dissolute soldier returned from the front, lovingly adoring his beautiful but vain cousin, Penelope Ivanovna.
It's getting late, and he's fucking drunk.
Alexei.
Do you propose to judge me on your vast life experience, Alexei Ivanovich?
Fuck you.
Look, Alexei Ivanovich had chased Penelope, waiting for her Ulysses to return from the treacherous Aegean. Imagine her chagrin on discovering that you are just another sailor. Not Ulysses, just someone with the impossible name of Alexei. If only names could make us unusual. But were Ulysses to present himself to her like the mighty king he truly is?
You know nothing about us.
Oh, but I do, Alexei Ivanovich. I'm a poet. I speak for us all.
He is pathetic. Penny, let's go.
No, I'm staying, Alexei.
Witness now, Alexei Ivanovich, the vagaries of the female sensibility.
Dylan? Dylan?
Before you utter another word, Brennan, I have not, nor wish to, nor will read a single syllable of your book. I have no interest whatsoever. I know the prosaic personality when I meet it. I'm sure your pages, each and every one of them, is filled and full of your banalities. It is your métier.
Back again.
Yes.
I thought you were just a figment of his imagination.
Well, I am. I'm not going in there. It's disgusting.
Oh,
God. It's severe. It's such velocity.
Projectile vomiting, probably caused by pyloric muscle spasm.
Everyone is pretending. You, me, him. I mean, it doesn't seem to care much.
About what?
About you.
No, someone, please. I really can't ruin this jacket. Someone, please. And
what?
His thickness, the color, and the consistency.
It's red and runny, mainly.
You know you can't trust your feelings.
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, we are, all of us, drunk most of the time.
No, I'm not drunk.
I mean, intoxicated. Anytime any of us can feel something, some reasoned emotion. Do you know what?
What?
Just because we feel something doesn't mean it's real.
You should meet my husband.
But it could be.
No. If I may demonstrate.
Don't be so easily fooled by the words or the world. It's all a lie. Everyone's a liar.
You don't speak any of the Slavic languages, do you?
Why do you ask?
Idle curiosity.
Oh, well, how does it look?
It's brown and watery now.
Oh, that's bad.
Really?
Fecal vomiting.
Oh, God. Fecal. It's really not.
Oh, I'm quite certain. Some duodenal contraction is causing the bile to...
You mean he's vomiting shit?
Oh, my God.
Exactly. Now, look what you've done. I'm off. Listen, phone me if... phone me.
Blood. Blood, bloody blood. Blood. It's the bloody blood. Rest. God. I don't envy the poor sort who has to clean that up. Oh, well, we mustn't dwell on these things. No drink, Carlos. For God's sake, let us sit on the ground and tell sad stories of the sad deaths of kings. For you have but mistook me all this while.
I live with bread like you. Feel one, taste grief, need friends. Subjected thus. How can you say to me, I am a king?
You fuck.
Pardon?
You fucking fuck.
Mr. Thomas? If you're feeling better...
He needs to go to the hospital.
I'm fine, Brennan. This strangest old taste in my mouth. I can't think what it is.
If you're not feeling well enough, your health is the most important, of course. Just if you're up to it, we should go.
You are pure.
What?
No, I mean that. I am jaded, corrupt. A monster of sorts, predatory, evil, lost. You have a kindness about you.
Thank you.
It is something about the primal nature of man that wants to destroy innocence and kindness. Why do you think that is, Carlos?
I think you should leave her alone.
Why do you think that is, Penelope?
Stop it! You bastard, Thomas. Leave her alone.
Oh, my God, Dylan, this is beneath you.
I have no beneath.
She's just a girl.
And what do you care what I think or say?
It's a bad show, old man. Really bad.
You know all the tricks, don't you, Mr. Thomas?
As do you, Carlos. As do you. I thought we were friends.
Did you?
Which college, then?
Columbia.
A fine institution.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Writer?
You have something to say to me, I think, Dylan.
Yes.
And my work? What do you think of my work?
If I walk out of this bar, Dylan, you're on your own.
Another drink, then?
Yes, another drink, please, Carlos.
Happy to accommodate, Dylan.
Dylan, is it now?
Here you go.
Sixteen is the small wisdom we have acquired from all. The sound and fury. Wisdom which comes so late as to provide a Pyrrhic service. Small reward for all that we have witnessed, suffered, and survived. My work, man to man, writer to writer, what do you think?
I can't imagine you would care what I would think.
Oh, I care what everyone thinks, Carlos. Everyone. Except for those who I've seduced, whose judgment I cannot trust. John Malcolm. Where is she? Brennan, look at the time. Where is she? They're true, Felix.
Difficult to watch, old man. Rather fond of you.
Then don't you want to save me?
No, not particularly. I'm rather in my own trouble. See ya.
See you then.
See you, Dylan. Knock him dead.
Thank you, Teddy. I will. Knock him dead.
Well, Carlos, that was quite a day.
For whom?
For whom? For whom? Very posh.
I meant, Dylan, whether you were only thinking of what a day was for you or what it was for the others.
Pardon?
Oh, no. Don't look to me for pardon. Speechless now, are we? No audience roaring their middle-brow approval of what they don't understand but think sounds nice. Like a replica painting they bought at the Five and Dime, mistaken for art.
Ah, forgive me for seeming self-pitying, Carlos. I believe I'm not at all well.
You're not well. You're right. You're a walking ruin. But you and I have our secret, don't we, Dylan?
Do we, Carlos? I would very much like to know what that secret is, but forgive me. Like Captain Oates, I must be going now.
Leaving, are we? Like the March Hare, some important rendezvous? To screw some naive girl who, like the other lotus eaters, mistakes sound for substance? You fooled them all.
Please. You seem displeased with me, Carlos. I need your help.
Our secret, your secret, is you know and I know. There's nothing there. Just the cadence of the language. Nothing else. Not Auden, not Yeats.
You are unkind.
Unkind? Tell that to that young girl, that boy, your children, and your friend who finds you work. Your wife. Tell that to your wife. You think your self-destruction is grand theater. It's not. It's simply sad. You're just a performer in your own pathetic vaudeville show with nothing of importance to say.
I write of life.
You write of life? You write of nothing. The world you mourn hasn't passed. It never existed. You should have looked at and written about what is actually here, around you. A bleak, stinking, rotting, corrupt, pernicious, soulless world on a darkling plain. Our own ill-begotten monsters slouching towards Bethlehem, waiting to be born. This is what poets should write about.
You don't like my work, then, I presume. Perhaps yours is different. I should read it.
You'll forgive me if I don't give you the only copy.
Why do you work here, Carlos?
Why? For you, Mr. Thomas.
For me?
Oh, yes, Mr. Thomas. For you. To help you in the naming of drinks. Here's one you will not drink. But I will leave you the bottle. I must be going. Close the door when you leave, would you? Oh. You know what tells the whole story about you? All this naming of drinks. Each one of them sounded so grand, so thought out, so clever. I can't remember a single one. Nor could anyone who was listening. Nor can you. That's what I mean. We remember the important stuff. The rest is just noise.
They really are quite easy to remember. Because there's nothing to remember except the experience of a lived life. First, and always first, is innocence, which may last a day or a lifetime, and is not a virtue because it cannot be chosen. Then enthusiasm, bright promise, hope, recalcitrance, faith, the mystical, the contemplation of death, the crossing of thresholds and resurrection, memory, regret. Mere excesses. 11, which is after 10, is disappointment. 12 is the great sadness.
13 is bravado, tilting quixotically at the failure of our lives. 14 is the mere servicing of our observers, servicing our children and our audiences, contorting our hands into shapes to throw shadows on the wall as if it were a living thing. 15 is the uncertainty of what awaits us when what awaits us is not far off. 16 is the small wisdom we have acquired from all the sound and fury, but late in our Pyrrhic service. And 17 is what we offer ourselves in the absence of enthusiasm, hope, faith, recalcitrance, bravado, wisdom, resurrection. Intoxication, the absenting of ourselves from all the noise of the world.
Oh. 18 is.
Dylan. Dylan, darling. Dylan, wake up.
Where are you?
I'm at home.
Home? That's a long way away.
Dylan, after all this, what is it that you love? And me?
Love is a word so often used, it's lost all meaning. And all the words that we exchange grow heavier with age. Like the stones in Virginia Woolf's pocket. The tired body and the heavy stones dragging the mind and the weary spirit to the bottom of a drowning river.
Oh, Dylan.
So no, I did not love you, Catelyn.
You didn't?
So what remains? Something else? Vines wrapped around a tree so tight they strangle as they nurture. But we would not live without the nurture.
Well, I loved you. I do love you.
Our time apart would leave me with an absence I could not fathom or quantify. And your unfaithfulness would render the viscera of my interior as a broadsword. But your kindness was my only harbor in a tempest of daily apocalypses and the water torture of the banality of everyday life.
So what does that mean?
It means that what has passed between us is a sacrament. Nature is indifferent to us. Only we know how we matter to one another, and yet it cannot be measured. or spoken or quantified. So I can say nothing else.
It was November 3rd, 1953, and Dylan staggered into the Chelsea Hotel, and he said, "I've had 18 straight whiskeys. I think this is a record."
A few hours later, he collapsed. He was taken to St. Vincent in a coma. They looked in his throat and saw that he was drowning in mucus and performed a tracheotomy.
He was still breathing when she arrived. And she said the oddest thing. She said, "Is the bloody man dead or alive?" On November 9th, Dylan died. Are there any questions?
Do something, he said. And we threw all our snowballs into the smoke. I think we missed Mr. Prothero and ran out of the house to the telephone box. Let's call the police as well, Jim said, and the ambulance. And Ernie Jenkins, he likes fires. But we only called the fire brigade. And soon the fire engine came and 3 tall men in helmets put a hose into the house, and Mr. Prothero got out just in time, just before they turned it on. Nobody could have had a noisier Christmas Eve. And when the firemen turned off the hose and were standing in the wet, smoky room, Jim's aunt, Miss Prothero, came downstairs and peered in at them. Jim and I waited very quietly to hear what she would say to them. She said the right thing always. She looked at the 3 tall firemen in the shining helmets standing among the smoke and the cinders and the dissolving snowballs, and she said, "Would you like anything to read?"
I will talk about him later. Everyone wants to talk about him.
But I have other stories, you know. When I was in medical school, of course, we worked very hard, but we still knew how to have a good time. There was a woman in our class, I think she was the only one, and we were in the second year doing anatomy, and we used to cut the penis off one of the cadavers and leave it in her lab coat. So you see, later when she would put the hand in the pocket, she would pull out a penis. And this was always funny. Some jokes after a while aren't funny anymore, but a penis in the pocket, always funny, always fresh. So I used to do this 2 or 3 times a week. We were running out of penises.
What became of her?
She became a urologist. I would like to think I contributed to her career choice. And a lesbian. Yes, and I wondered if I might not have contributed to that as well. But later, one of my friends from medical school told me that. She said it wasn't the pricks in her pocket, but the pricks in her class. That had cleared up any doubts she may have had. Apparently always that way in the climb. Still, pricks in a pocket. It's funny just saying it.
How reassuring.
Reassuring?
Well, that my husband is in the caring hands of a sensitive physician.
Just because I have a sense of humor doesn't make me a bad doctor.
So what does make you a bad doctor?
Oh, I'm not certain, really. Either my lack of attention or my lack of caring.